Hi, Nanaprishan.
Hi Ashok.
Yeah, can you just briefly explain about yourself and your day-to-day activities?
Okay, so totally I have 10 years of experience in IT. Initially, I worked as a Linux admin, and after that, I switched my career to DevOps. So totally, I have 4 years of experience in DevOps. So in my project, I will be handle the Kubernetes cluster and so Docker tool, Jenkins for CI/CD purpose, and for static code analysis, we're using a Sonar Cube and so Maven. So these are the DevOps tools we handle in our project. From cloud aspect, EC2 and VPC, and for storage S3 bucket, load balancer. So these are the service I'm familiar with that.
Okay, so for Kubernetes, what you use? Like,
We use yeah EKS, AWS EKS we are using in our current project.
okay, okay. So how would you rate yourself in Kubernetes out of 10?
I give 6 to 6.5. I give out of 10. I'm working as a L2 related task I'm handling, so I can rate myself 6.5.
Okay, so let's assume a scenario. Okay, we
Mm-hmm.
have a Kubernetes cluster, and you are seeing like high pod restarts. Okay, pod is restarting multiple times, and application
Okay,
is going down. Okay. So
okay.
how would you debug and resolve the issue?
So in this case, I first analyze the log. So kubectl log and a pod name I will be using it, and or else I will check that kubectl describe under pod ID. I will check container ID. I'll check it. So it will tell you the reason for continuous restart. It might be the issue with resource issues or some configuration issues with the pod. So then I will correct that configuration.
Okay, let's assume you are having memory, like out of memory issue. Then how would
Mhm,
you
mhm.
troubleshoot that one?
So I'll check that deployment configuration file. So and also before I check the deployment file, I check that kubectl top and pod. Then it give me the output how many GB is utilized, what is the limit I configured in the configuration file. So based on which I can increase in the deployment file. So in that under the resource category, there will be a limit and a request options we have based on which I can increase it and I correct
No,
it.
if you increase it, like
Mm.
even that may get filled, right? Like for example, let's assume like you have like 4 GB of um, RAM. Okay,
Okay,
so you
okay.
increase it to 8. So after
Hmm.
a few hours, even if 8 GB of RAM is filled, then what you will do?
Mm. Then I think we need to check that node level configuration.
Okay,
So at node level, what is the defined configuration at the node level? So of course we will have enough resource at the node level. If we have enough resource in node level, then we will. I don't think if the application container is need that much memory, then it won't resource beyond that, right? So there will be a
no.
requirement in order to run the pod.
If
Yeah.
there is out of memory issue, maybe your application is having some fault. Okay, you should troubleshoot at the application level.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes the application keeps on loading, and there are many processes will be running due to which that memory will be keep on increasing. Uh, Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But I
Mm,
don't have an detailed idea. But we will check with application team. So if the application is not properly running,
okay. Okay. Let's assume you are doing a deployment and it
mhm.
is stuck in pending state. Okay. So
Okay.
what should be the like? What could be the like possible reasons? And in case if you have to troubleshoot, how you will troubleshoot that thing?
So if there is resource issues at the node level, so the pod will not be deployed properly. So in this case, we need to check that high utilized pod. We can move it to different node, or else we can add one more node to the cluster. Then we can deploy the uh, pod.
So what could be the reason, like why it would be in pending state?
The lack of resource issues.
Okay.
We don't have enough resource, so that's why it is waiting for the pending.
Hmm.
So if we have enough resources, then it will be
Apart from that, what could be the issue?
apart
In case
from
if
that.
you have enough resources, then
Mhm.
what could be the issue?
Then the image configuration, we need to ensure that whether the environment is properly configured in that manifest file, the application. And
No, in
so if
case
it
if
is
image is not proper, then you will get error like image pull error.
image error, okay.
I told like deployment is stuck in pending state.
Mm. If there's any tains on tolerance,
Correct. Yeah. You have to look for
uh,
those things,
okay.
and then you have to look for any storage issues.
But here one doubt I have, but when we deploying that, I mean, when you're trying to deploy the pod, that scheduler will take care of it, right? From to which node I need to deploy this deployment, it decide, right? So in this case, there will be a. I'm just,
Okay,
I
like
got it.
those things will be handled, but the thing is like those things will be defined manually.
Okay, okay.
Like controller is just for like deploying and controlling the nodes. But in case
Mhm.
if we have defined the rules like taints and tolerance, those things will not be handled by that.
Okay,
Okay, so let's assume another scenario. Okay, your Kubernetes cluster is running fine, but suddenly
okay.
some parts like they are not able to communicate with services. So how would you fix those things?
Kubernetes is running fine, but pod service is not communicating.
Hmm.
Okay, pod is not communicating. Then I just a kubectl and describe and the pod, and or else a kubectl describe and services. I'll check it. So if there is port is properly forwarded, then it will work. Or else the inbound rule we need to check.
Okay. Okay. So for example, you're upgrading your Kubernetes cluster. Okay.
Mhm,
So after upgrading, some applications are failing due to like API deprecations. So
mhm.
how will you find those things and how will you fix those things?
Um, Kubernetes cluster upgradation, right?
Yeah, for example, if it
During.
is like in version 1.30 and you're upgrading it to 1.31, so after
Mhm,
that some applications are failing. Okay,
mhm.
like it is showing like some APIs are deprecated.
Okay.
So how would you fix those things?
No idea.
Okay,
Okay. But during that um, version deployment, I mean version upgrade, so we will be. Uh, no, in this part I have no idea.
like you have to
I
check
need to
the
go.
API resources version,
Okay.
like kubectl API hyphen resources, and then you can grep for those API resource configurations.
Okay.
Okay. So your application like needs to handle a huge traffic, okay? But
Mhm.
new parts which are created are not so quick enough. Like what could be the bottlenecks and how would you fix those things? Like there will be sudden spikes of traffic, okay, in your cluster,
Okay.
but
Mhm.
you not configured the parts to get scheduled quickly. Like it may come up, but it will take like some time, like 5 minutes or whatever it is. So how can you adjust the configuration so that the parts can come up quickly whenever there is increase in traffic?
No, this I have no idea on this.
Okay. Okay. So you have a Kubernetes cluster,
Okay.
but it crashed. Okay, it crashed and some parts running are not coming up. Okay.
Mhm.
So how would you troubleshoot those things?
Mm, No, Ashok. So I don't have any this. No, the scenario based things. Just need to go through it.
Okay. Okay. So let's take Docker. Okay. You have a Docker container and
Okay.
it's restarts continuously. So how would
Okay.
you troubleshoot that thing?
Mm, Docker restart continuously restarting.
No, for example, if Docker container is continuously restarting, how would
Okay.
you troubleshoot those things?
I'll check the Docker image if properly configured in the Docker file.
You have to check Docker logs
Okay.
and Docker inspect.
Okay.
So okay, you need to optimize Docker image size. Okay. So
Mhm.
what you can do to optimize the image size?
I use a multi Docker container. I can go for.
Okay.
Okay. So we use the Alpine, um, using which we can build the image with, we can build the uh, Docker image with base image.
Okay.
So this is
But
only
are you able
solution
to
we have.
think anything apart from this by which you can reduce the image size?
No, I don't think
Okay. So
this is the
you
option we
can
have.
use dot ignore file. Okay, so that you can avoid all unwanted files as well.
Okay.
Okay. For example, you want to troubleshoot a network issue on Docker. So how would you
Mhm.
troubleshoot that one?
I use Docker inspect and network, uh, using which I can troubleshoot the Docker network. And yeah, Docker inspect is the command to troubleshoot.
Okay. So in case if you want to optimize a Jenkins pipeline to
Mhm.
reduce the build time. Okay. So for example, if certain builds are taking like 10 minutes. So in case if you have to reduce the time, what are the steps you will take?
Okay. No, so this Sandal I don't remember actually.
Okay. Okay. Another question, can you share your screen?
Okay. Vente screen. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Can
Is
you
my screen
open a
visible?
notepad? Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, I have VS Code.
Okay. So how would you view the running processes?
Um, so this is the command we check.
Okay. In case if you want to check network connectivities
To check the network connectivity in Linux server,
in
or
Linux.
Okay, check the IP address first. Okay, then I'll check the ping using the destination. So apart from this, I can use the telnet whether the port is opened or not. After that, um, this is the thing I can check the network connectivity.
Okay, so in case if you want to check a list of open files and ports, which command you'll use?
List of open port, right?
Yeah.
Mm, uh, netstat tnlp. Then I check the port detail, or else I can leave it like this. I can check go through one by one. If I want to filter only the specific port like 53 or 25, then I use a grep.
Okay. How do you check disk space?
I can use disk space like this, or else I can use disk space for all disk usage.
Okay, it would be HP, I guess, capital P.
No, this is to check that whether NFS or XFS or EXFS. So T means a type.
Okay, so in case if you want to compress a file using tar, what is the command?
Mhm. To compress the file, gzip, then tar file name. This is the thing.
To compress
Yeah, this
tar
is
file.
file. Yeah, I mean keep all the files into the tar, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So this is a file name. File name dot tar. For example, if I want to move all the files under that, where log, then this is the file.
Then how would you extract this one?
So 1 minute. Yeah. Gun z zip space hyphen d and that file dot tar or xvf also we can use it. Anything is fine.
Okay, in case if you want to sync files,
Or sync source destination. I mean source and destination. This one.
okay. Can you write a Kubernetes YAML file for config map?
Okay. And um, testing for key. For example, count 10. So these are the non-sensitive data we can use it. I'm not sure whether the spec is comes or not. I think it comes.
It will not come.
Okay, okay. or deployment will come.
Yeah.
So this is how we use the syntax.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
a rough syntax.
Okay. So let's discuss something about AWS. Okay.
Mhm.
So you have an EC2 instance. It is running. Okay. But
Okay.
you're not able to SSH into it. Okay. So
Okay.
what could be the reason?
Uh, there will be a inbound or outbound rules we need to configure. I mean, primarily we need to check the inbound rule,
Hmm.
whether the port is allowed or not, and also we need to log into that server in the AWS EC2 console. We have to check that IP address whether it is properly configured, the network part and all. So if everything is fine the server end, so we have to check that inbound rule only. That is the only reason it is not accessible from outside.
Okay. Let's assume like port 22 of SSH is allowed in security group. Okay.
Hmm.
Still it is not accessible. Then what could be the issue?
Mm, no, from the access from the network part, this is the only reason. From access level part, there might be a permission issues in order to access.
Okay.
I
Like
don't.
okay. One more question. Like we have these port numbers, right?
Mhm.
So at what places we define these port numbers?
What place in that security group, we will mention the inbound rule and allow SH and port 2020 of source to destination. This is how we mention the AWS.
Okay. Is it the only place?
Um, for normally EC2 instance, we don't specify inside the server. From console only, we will mention it.
We will have one thing called NACL, you know.
That NACL is applicable to all the entire security group. So I mean
Yeah,
subnet
like
level,
if
subnet level.
okay, if it is blocked there,
That server which are in that subnet level will not be accessible.
yeah, that's what I'm expecting. Like it will not be placed at only one level, okay? So it will
Okay, okay,
be
okay,
blocked at both the levels. You have to check at both the places.
okay, okay.
Okay, so you have an EC2 instance that is terminated automatically, okay?
Hmm.
So what could be the reason and how can you avoid that?
Terminated automatically. Mm, no idea. So,
Okay, you know about autoscaling group, right?
yeah, auto scaling group. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, in case if an EC2 instance is in autoscaling group, yeah,
Hmm.
based on that minimum and maximum criteria, it will be deleted.
Okay, okay.
Or else, in case if you're using some Spot instances, then it will
Hmm.
be terminated.
Okay.
Okay, so what are the steps to create an autoscaling group?
First, we need to have the template based on the configurations and along with that installed applications details. We need to have one template because this auto scaling will be work based on the template. Because if some instant resource is high, that auto scaling group will make use of this template to increase and reduce it. Okay, so first thing is we need to create a target group. After that, we need to create a load balancer, and the load balancer should redirect to, I mean, direct to the target group. After that, the target inside the target group, there will be a auto scaling minimum and maximum and decide capacity. We need to configure it. This is the thing we have to follow.
Okay,
And load balancer should point to the target group.
okay. So let's assume you have two VPCs, okay,
Mhm.
and you have to connect to them privately.
Okay.
How would you connect?
I create in VPC. I will create a public subnet and private subnet. So public subnet will be route to the. I mean, through help of with help of router, it will be route to the internet gateway. So for private subnet, it will not be route to the internet gateway. Okay, so in this case, uh, your question is
How
how
to
we
connect
connect.
to private VPCs?
Yeah.
How you
So
connect
in this
privately
case,
to
yeah,
VPCs?
in this case, we will create one load balancer in the public subnet. So public subnet will have access in the, I mean, load balancer will have access in the public subnet, and then
No.
uh,
Why are you going for public subnet? I told we need to enable private connectivity between VPCs.
oh, between VPC, then VPC peering we need to configure.
Yeah. Apart from
Okay.
that,
After configure the VPC peering, we have to allow the request from source VPC to destination VPC. In destination VPC, we have to accept the request.
okay. VPC peering is one option. What are the
Mhm.
other alternative options?
That is transit gateway. It is more enabled features. For example, multiple VPC we have, then internet gateway. I mean, transit gateway is more flexible when compared to VPC peering.
Okay. Okay. Let's assume you have a database and it is hosted in private subnet,
Okay.
and it needs to be accessible from on-premises. Okay.
Hmm.
On-premise environment. So how
Okay.
you can access?
Um, no, I don't have an idea. I need to go through this concept.
Okay. So you have an application load balancer, but
Okay.
some requests are failing with gateway timeout. Okay.
Okay.
So how you will troubleshoot that one?
Gateway timeout.
Yeah.
Mm, I have no idea. So
Okay. Your application is not able to access S3 bucket. Okay.
okay.
So how you will troubleshoot that?
Um, Application is an S3 bucket, but it is not working properly.
So you have to check all the IAM permissions and
Okay.
bucket policies.
Hmm. Okay.
So how you can prevent accidental deletion of objects in S3 bucket?
We can uh, termination. There will be option for termination restriction. That mode should be enabled.
That is for
So
EC2.
okay,
I told for objects in S3.
for accidental deletion, correct?
Yeah. So we
We,
have to enable versioning,
okay.
and we have to enable multi-factor authentication for deletion.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. By this, like in case of accidental deletion, we can avoid because during
Hmm.
multi-factor authentication, it will ask credentials multiple times,
Multiple.
right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So that you will know, like in case of any accidental deletion.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Can you open any page like draw.io or something on your browser?
Okay. Uh, draw dot
Dra-
io.
yeah, decide later.
Okay.
Okay. So I need an application, okay,
Hmm.
which is highly accessible. So there shouldn't be any downtime, even on any in case of any disaster also, it should be
Hmm.
available. So can
Okay.
you draw the diagram? Let's assume like we have like two EC2 instances.
Mm-hmm.
So you configure the infra in such a way that it will be highly available and highly scalable.
So the application is hosted on one EC2 instance.
No,
So, oh, sorry. Yeah.
I need an
Yeah.
infra
Okay.
which can be highly scalable and highly available. Okay,
Okay. Then auto scaling.
let's assume we have an application. For example, let's assume Amazon.com. Okay,
Okay.
so you are deploying Amazon application, so
Mm-hmm.
it should be available 24 bar 7 into 365.
Okay.
So let's assume like even in one of the regions is affected due to some calamities,
Mm-hmm.
still it should able to serve the data.
Okay.
So what are all the components involved and how will you design an high level architecture and what are the components involved in designing it?
Okay. I think a cross region
Yeah,
options
you
we
can
can
just
use.
draw a diagram and components involved.
So I create VPC. Okay. So inside VPC, um, so there will be a um, subnet. So inside subnet, um, so there will be a EC2 instance. Okay. So the EC2 instance uh, instance are deployed in. Um, there are three availability zone. US is to one name. So there will be a
Okay, you can just draw it. It's fine.
no, it is not coming properly.
No, no, leave that. You just draw the boxes.
Okay. Mm, so this is load balancer. So this load balancers reach out to that target group and listen on port 8080 or 80. So then target group will talk to that auto scaling.
Do we have separate component like target group?
Uh, no, target group means where we um, it is associated with the load balancer,
Yeah, then no need of defining it, right?
but we have to. define that load balancer should talk to the target group. Then, I mean, listen on port 80. It should be associated with the load balancer, right? Without associating the load balancer to the target group, how the target group will talk to that auto scaling? So that is my understanding
I
about the auto
mean,
scaling.
like if you take EC2 instance will have all the IP addresses, VPCs, etc. Right? No need of
Yeah.
mentioning those things. So target group is component of load balancer. You have defined the load balancer. That is
Okay.
enough.
Mhm.
Okay. So from load balancer, from where it will communicate.
From load balancer, it communicate to the auto scaling.
Okay. S- So in case if this region is totally affected, then
It will be available in that another uh, zone, right?
okay. Okay. Leave this one. Okay.
Mhm.
So can you just draw a VPC diagram and explain me what are the components involved in it?
Okay. So this VPC, there will be a internet gateway,
How many internet gateways can we have in a VPC?
only one internet gateway.
If you want two,
We need to create another VPC.
like
No,
can we
for
add
one
it to the?
VPC,
Can we add it to
only
the? I need
mm,
another internet gateway in the same VPC.
no, only one internet gateway should be create and associate with the per VPC. That is a recommended one.
Correct.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's it. That's what I wanted to know. Yeah.
okay. Mm, then, for example, I create a subnet now. Okay, so this is subnet. After that, a route table we need to create. Um, a route table. The route table should route table should be associated with the subnet. I don't know. I'm not familiar with this diagram actually.
Okay. Okay,
So I just
fine.
explained this orally. So subnet after the route table is associated with the subnet. The route table will be talk to the internet gateway. Then inside the subnet, there will be a VPC. I mean, EC2 instance will be created. So then if we allow the inbound import, then it will be talked to from outside. So this is the subnet, public subnet.
Okay. Okay, no question. Fine. Thank you.
Okay.